Philadelphia. Hello, everybody. It is Bell The Birdmen. I am John Barchard, along with Vince Quinn and Taylor Kredatus. We popped the ceremonial Cherry Crush on a Friday. Oh, my goodness, if you don't know by now, this is going to be in stores somewhere. And when you see it, when you taste it, the Bell The Birdmen Cherry Crush soda from Reading Soda Works is going to blow your mind. Vince Quinn, what's going on, buddy?
Well, you gave me a heart attack when you said pop that ceremonial cherry, so I'm glad that ended in crush. Otherwise, this would have been a very different show than what I was expecting. So there we go. We're off to a rousing start. Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm officially COVID negative, thank God.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. I finally, as soon as it happened, I took the test. I tested negative. I looked at Dana. I said, we're going to a bar. And we went out and had some drinks. So,
let's go see if there's some more COVID around these corners and go get a drink. Yeah.
No, I'm immune for 3 months now. Bring me your COVID people. I will breathe in their air and show no pain. So that's how I feel. Yeah, so I'm doing a lot better. Dude, it's just crazy thinking about all this shit. Like, this Jalen Hurts stuff is nuts.
Yeah,
this is bad. This is really bad.
Maybe don't yell at somebody all week for suggesting to sit him down in a meaningless game against Davis Webb. Can we go back to that for maybe a second? I even saw a couple of people in the Discord who remain nameless, Ramos, who are now suggesting, well, yeah, why does this injury look a little worse than what you thought? Or possibly maybe those 3 sacks in a row didn't exactly make him feel, the best come out of the Sunday. I still am not like, I don't know. Are you starting to worry a little bit? I'm not worried about it. This is pretty much on the timeline of what Les Bowen had said the injury would take until the 21st of January, which just so happens to be a day before an important football game. So that's fine by me. Or 2 days before? I can't remember. But
yeah, so we're starting Minshew for the first playoff game, right?
Here it is. Minshew are the 1 seeds, and now we get to really see its value. Oh, God, that would be terrible.
He just needs 1 extra week, so we're going to start Minshew. It'll be fine. No, it's like, looking at it, dude, I mean, think about this. With football players, they are hurt all the time, and they play through so many things that they don't even put it on the injury report. So they're that used to playing injured, and they're so much more injured than we always know. Like, how many times have we gone through a season, and Jason Kelsey's like, yeah, well, my arm was sawed off and reattached, and my ankle was broken in 8 places, and I don't have any ribs, but I'm good. And, like, he played through the whole season like that. It's just it happens every single year with him, and it happens with everybody. So for Jalen and Sirianni and all these people to be like, well, yeah, I mean, Jalen's pretty banged up. This isn't looking very good. He's going to play, but, like, well, he's in really bad shape, and he's doing everything he can to get out there just because they're the 1 seed and they got a shot. So, like, I respect the hell out of him for doing this. It's just a question of, like, what kind of painkillers is he taking? How does that affect him, if it affects him? Because, like, this might sound like a dumb question, and I honestly don't know, so you tell me.
I'm ready for this.
Like,
this is great. Okay,
think about this. You're going into a game situation. They're going to inject you with something to get you ready for the game, right? Do they practice like that? Like,
no.
If I'm, like, going to play the game with some painkiller, maybe they just do it enough that they're used to it anyway. But to be like, yeah, I'm getting some injection in my arm, maybe I should practice with it once so I have some idea, like, am I sailing the ball more? Or I don't know. It's one of those things I've always wondered about, and I've never really asked out loud. So,
well, you just happen to have a shoulder expert on the program, oddly enough, and that is me. Because this piece of meat over here, there's nothing in it. Yeah. Nothing. There is nothing in that thing. It's different from a sprain. I've had so many dislocations. It's absurd. So the rehab cycle and granted, I am not a professional athlete, have not even attempted to be an athlete in over 20 years in any organized sport. So me and Jalen Hurts' body are very different considering he's still 24. Yeah. And handsome. It has a lot to do with recovery. Trust me.
You're handsome too.
But the protocol in which he's on for a sprain is right now. So, like, you're probably getting injections for practice because you need to stretch it out. You want to make sure it's, you're getting it back to a point where the muscles are strengthening themselves again. For a dislocation that can take anywhere from like a month to 3 months to 6 months, depending on like how bad it got ripped out. But in this case, like, that's pretty much on track. And when you do need to play through that pain, oh, yeah, dude, they're going to, like, between the shot that they give you and then the adrenaline warm-up as you're out there, you're not going to feel anything for about 4 hours. Like Sunday night through Thursday is probably a different story. But again, like you said, it's just 3 games. You got to get through 3 games. And I would even say that if this pain continues on, surgery is more than likely coming for Jalen Hurts probably in the offseason. I don't hold on. I don't mean to scare you on that, but it'll probably be a scope of some point because that's what usually happens. Minuscule. They're tightening up the whatever, that the cleanup job that you would have to do over. I would suggest that if he still has this kind of pain right now, there's surgery coming at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to come to the bigger question of, like, look, they're already game planning a little bit of what it's going to look like depending on who they get, I would assume. The biggest question is just going to be, how much does Jalen run? I mean, that's it, right? That's the core of everything for this team the rest of the way. Is how much is Jalen Hurts going to run? How much are they going to let him run? Is he going to be willing to do it? Seeing how all that stuff.
Yeah, the answer is those yes, yes, and yes.
I hope.
There's no doubt in my mind that I don't see. This is the problem, is because we saw a not fully healthy Jalen Hurts against a shitty Giants lineup, and now everyone's going to believe that that's what they're going to see in the divisional round. I have no doubt about it. When the Giants beat the Vikings, that's all you're going to hear. It's all you're going to hear for a straight week. So enjoy the dumb takes for that long, and I apologize if one of those comes out of our mouths.
Well, it's probably going to be me. But yeah, it's the running game. Like that's what makes them great. As much as the passing offense is so dominant and his numbers are great and the talent and all that stuff, it all starts with having a run game and having a diverse run game because he's so great at executing all the stuff that he does, and he's such a great runner. So thinking about their willingness to put him in those situations, are they just going to game plan a little bit less? Are they going to call it early to just get it in the other team's head and then kind of like fake that they're going to have him run the rest of the game? Like, I don't know. It's going to be one of the biggest questions we've got over the next week and a half here is just how much is he going to run and what does he look like? How many hits can he take? So I want to see how that goes. But the fact that he's talking about it constantly and just going like, yeah, guys, I'm pretty fucked up. It's not good. It's like you don't get this normally from people. You don't hear this very often, especially now because it's all the strategy around it. Like to Ryan Meehan in the Discord, credit to him. He's like, who does this benefit? Like, who does this really benefit for him and the team to go out and be like, yeah, Jalen's really hurt. Like, it all does is for anybody else that's playing the Eagles next week go, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Jalen Hurts against the run if he decides to run.
You just described exactly why they would do it, because you go in with false pretenses on like, yeah, I'm pretty banged up. Have you never watched a Star Trek movie? One of the older ones with fucking Spock and Kirk, where Spock like bends the truth, but he's not. He's like, well, I didn't say it does hurt, but I didn't say I couldn't play like a fucking MVP, And I think that's where this is going. That's where I think it's gamesmanship. Be like, oh, I'm so banged up. What are they gonna do? You should probably try and blitz me on the RPO. Bing, 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 bing. 12 straight completions. They're up 35-10, and then everybody goes, aha. I just feel like it's more that than, because who is it benefiting? That's the only. That's it. People thinking you're weaker than you actually are coming into the divisional round.
Hey, look, if that's the long con, and ultimately it's with the idea that he's going to have an Andy Dalton-esque 12 for 12, then I'm in. I'm in. Count me in for that.
Well, because, think about it. They're thinking the same way as you are. Are they changing up their RPO offense, or is it just going to be a lot of like what we saw, Jalen's under shotgun, 3-step, 5-step, bang, wide receivers, an Arizona Cardinals game plan, yawn, I don't think it's going to be anything like that. They're just going to go win this one, figure it out. And that's what I would be telling myself if I was Jalen too. I don't care if I got to go down with it. You can't preserve yourself here. You got to go all out.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is what it is. You're the 1 seed. You've got the best avenue you could ask for. You might have, as much as we think the team can be better in future years, you can't guarantee that that's the case. I mean, this is a really great and deep team. So you got to make the most of the opportunity, and Jalen running is just that. So it's going to be a pain tolerance thing. It's a big issue. He seems like a really tough guy. So I think he'll be able to handle it. But, man, it's just it doesn't make you feel great. You just think, thank God we got another week and a half until it's actually game time.
Listen, man, he squats 660 and he shits bullets, okay? I think he'll be okay. He's a tough guy. It's my message to Vince Quinn and to you. I think everything's just going to be fine for the divisional round. However, I got to say, for a And it is a shortened rookie class. What do we end up with? 6 picks, 7 picks, I think, overall?
Yeah, I want to say 6 guys. And, every undrafted free agent on the planet.
Now, we still have a bet that's kind of hanging out in the air between Kyle Hamilton, Jordan Davis. I even have to admit this right now. Over the last month, and it correlates exactly with Roquan Smith being there. So
No, keep going.
Kyle Hamilton looks really fucking good this last month. And Jordan Davis is nowhere to be seen. Nakobe Dean also nowhere to be seen. And though I understand the context of the second-round pick being the heir apparent for Jason Kelce, I would say, personally, I am very disappointed in the first 3 picks of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I can see why you're resting Jordan Davis right now, because hurt to concussion to rookie wall to hopefully there's some juice left in there for the playoffs, and he'll be a big contributor for that. But, man, I mean, you have 3 people right now not contributing to the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl run. And I do mean that as, like, impactful starters. Special teams is whatever for Nakobe at this point. Any of your overall thoughts on, like, what – I mean, I say this with the Eagles are 14-2 without their rookie class doing much of anything except for maybe the first 8 games of the season. So is that a good sign or a bad sign in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've underperformed this year. It's a bad sign. Ultimately, do I think it's where it's going to go long term? Not really. Like, on some level, here's the tough thing with Jordan Davis especially. He comes in, everybody loves him. You talk about this big guy and what he can do in the run game, and you see some flashes of that early.
You talking about me now, or are you talking about Jordan Davis?
Well you had shown
I'm just making sure.
You're a steady vet, John. There's no worries about you and your performance at this point. So, like, you look at Jordan Davis, the tough thing is, it's okay. The things that happened that are the bad things of Jordan Davis are the exact problems that worried me when we started this season. 0 sacks throughout the year. He's played maybe 20 snaps a game on the high end. On the low end, he's in the teens, and he finished the game against the Giants with 8 snaps, I think it was. Like, he hasn't played a lot. He's not a dynamic pass rusher at this point. He's very disruptive in the run game when he plays, but that's only a couple stretches. Now he's playing less than he ever did. So it's not like he's growing and getting stronger and getting more. He's getting less. So you wonder, when a guy that's been injured, it's that size, all of his ability, what's it going to be like long term? I still think he's going to be a really good player. I'm not saying he won't be, but for right now, this was about this was a bad case scenario for his rookie year. I think it's been underwhelming. If you told anybody at the end of this year that he has 18 tackles on the season and he's playing on average less than 20 snaps a game, it's a disappointment.
I guess so. And if you're, I don't think it's his ability, though. I just think it's he got injured, and he can only be. We knew he was only going to be out there for a set amount of time this season anyway, as opposed to what I think is more disappointing is Nakobe Dean. Like, I'm looking at fucking Grant Calcaterra be fine filling in for, and it's a 7th round pick. It's a completely different position. It's on the other side of the ball, but, like, I don't know, man. I am tired of making excuses for this situation. He's just not ready. And he got hurt too, but I'm just saying, like, I think there's more worry about Nakobe Dean than there is Jordan Davis moving forward. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, long term it has to be. Nakobe Dean's not even getting on the field rotationally. So, yeah, when he's just a special teamer at this point, he was supposed to be a first-round talent. Yeah, I'm more worried about that. At least Jordan Davis, I know what his floor is, and it's a good run defender that's in on first and second down. Like, that's fine.
And it's just I don't know if there's anybody in the second round. I haven't even gone back and looked that you would have been like, man, this would have been a much better situation than drafting your future center here to have a centerpiece. But, it's kind of odd that we're so, and because they're 14-2 and they have the division round, who cares about the rookie class right now? It's just when we wake up in the offseason and kind of look at this and be like, man, there's still outside of Cam and Calcaterra, like, it's like, it seems like it's just an okay draft class so far.
Yeah, I mean, Kyron Johnson, nobody's thought about him, talked about him, nobody cares.
On IR too, I believe,
yeah,
right?
I mean, the other guy that's been really compelling for them was Josh Sills, undrafted, and he's the reason Sua Opeta got cut last week, and he moved to the practice squad because they like Sills and he's bumped up. So you like to see that. I mean, and same thing with Calcaterra, undrafted guys. Like, getting those guys to do some stuff is awesome. Late round guys, seeing them do stuff. But man, I mean, you want to see it from the top of the draft, and right now we figured this would kind of be what it is for Jordan Davis. It's gonna be more about next year, but for now, Linval Joseph's the guy, and that kind of sucks. And it's just there's a lot of work to be done. I mean, this is the foundation of the team, right? It's all about drafting and how these things pan out long term. Right now, it's underwhelming.
Well, man, going back to our last episode, that's why I'm very surprised to hear you say that defensive line is fine. If Jordan Davis in your mind is still kind of a question mark, we believe is going to, I mean, I think he's going to be a better player than you do. But even if you think he's just a good player, that kind of would lock you into Hargrave or somebody like that in a big signing. I don't think Fletcher Cox is going to be here next year, and that's an issue. That's an issue if you have Jordan Davis and Hargrave, in my opinion, as your defensive tackles moving forward.
Yeah, see, that works. That works fine for me. I mean, the way I view it right now is I think Jordan Davis is a superstar role player, right? Like he's going to be an elite run stopper, and if they get anything out of him as he develops as a passing game guy, great. But I don't think that's really his job, and I don't mind if it isn't. So that's why you have guys like Hargrave and you develop them. So. I mean, if those guys are your starters, Milt Williams is working in that rotation. You still have Sweat. I count Reddick as a defensive lineman because he's rushing the passer. And you're going to have Graham for probably one more year, I think, at this point. He wanted to play 15 years. I think he's got 1 year left. So that's a good place to be for now. You draft another developmental guy, you see where it goes, but this team's got a good foundation right now.
Just like the wonderful foundation that you can find on every can of Liquid Death Mountain Water. Folks, we keep telling you this. LiquidDeath.com/Bell not only will tell you where you can find it, but as we might have, we did say in the last show, and you should have been paying attention, 20% off everything in their merch store. So, all of the cool T-shirts that they have, the dog toys, the watches, the Martha Stewart candle, 20% off. LiquidDeath.com/Bell does that. And, of course, we did find out the mystery of where our Liquid Death Mountain Water went. They had the wrong address.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? We have since April, just because of an address shift. That is why we haven't had Liquid Death Mountain Water, which is being changed for 2023. Welcome to the new year. Aren't they the best thing on earth? Thank you very much for sending those 16.9-ounce cans of flat water. And I've also requested some of that severed lime and some mango for you, buddy, because I know that's your favorite. So
I do love mango. Mango everything makes me happy.
It makes us happy when you go to liquiddeath.com/Bell, because that helps the pod, that helps them, and it helps me kick up my feet one more time to realize that I don't have to, shove a bunch of bourbon into a very panicked, divisional round with all these stupid takes, much like, God, I can't tell you how bad. Do you remember how bad the takes were the divisional round with the Falcons coming into town in 2017? Oh, my God. You would have thought that the Eagles were 1-15 that year. I don't think that's going to happen like this, but I am curious. Let's make some predictions for this weekend. The seeding doesn't matter to me in the NFC. It matters maybe a little more in the AFC, but I'm ready. I think I said this on the last show. I am ready for fucking chaos. I believe that every lower seed could win this weekend. Wouldn't be shocked. Seems like everybody's on board with the Giants this year. I'm now officially putting the BUCS in there as a no-doubter. So, I don't know. How do you think it goes, man? Who would you want to see coming into Philadelphia?
Yeah, Green Bay. I mean, give me or Seattle. Excuse me, Seattle, who's the 7.
I thought you were making a really good joke. So there you go.
I wish I did. I would love to see Green Bay still. It's not happening. Seattle is definitely who you want, because it means they beat San Francisco to get there. That's clearly the team. I mean, Seattle I still don't think is that good. They're a very beatable unit all around. And San Francisco would be your biggest threat. So at that point, I mean, you're talking about it's the Vikings, it's the BUCS, it's whoever else makes it out of this thing that you're going to see at home. You're going to see them at home regardless, but you'd see them at home for the NFC Championship game. So Seattle's the team. That's easy.
I feel like I would never want to see Seattle in the divisional round.
Really?
Never.
Really?
If
Why?
they just beat the 49ers at home, right?
Yeah.
It's and maybe I'm not thinking this isn't a year where Marshawn Lynch pushes down fucking Porter and holds his dick and says, not one of those moments. It's here's the thing. When Seattle and the Eagles meet up, it's just fucking weird. Now, maybe that's because Russell Wilson's stuff was just floating in and out of that. I'm going, look at me. I'm unfocusing myself like Vince Quinn on YouTube. But like Seattle and the Eagles just have weird games, and I don't like it. It only ends up being like one-score games, and it's been with a couple of different head coaches. Andy Reid's Seattle games were always weird. We know that Chip games were weird with Seattle. Every Wentz game with Seattle was weird. I don't know. I would actually hate it. I welcome the Giants or Bucks with full arms, and the Seattle Seahawks is what I would never want to see.
Yeah, I would take the Giants too because they're just better. I'm not worried about that. Even though last week was a disaster, I'm not worried about it. But yeah, man, Seattle. I just think that team stinks, and they'd be pretty easy to beat. And if they beat San Francisco on the road, that's such a massive win for them. It's just one of those things of like emotional charge, crash. You know what I mean? So for them to have to go on the road again, and this time go across country to do that, I just think it's a game for the Eagles to win and win easily. So Seattle's the matchup for me. And then otherwise, it's like, I mean, yeah, I want to see the Giants, and I think that's really doable. I mean, because I don't think Seattle's all that reasonable to see. I don't think they're going to beat San Francisco. But, man, the Giants could easily beat the Vikings. I think we're both on that train.
It's Brock Purdy versus Geno Smith, man. Don't tell me that Seattle can't win that game in a divisional matchup. They know each other very well.
Yo, future Hall of Famer Brock Purdy. How dare you, sir? I mean, I've seen people already putting in, I think it was in the Discord or I saw it on Twitter. I forget where it was, but people being like, so Trey Lance is getting dealt next year, right, in the offseason? And it's like, maybe. I mean, maybe.
Who's going to take him, and what are you getting him for?
I don't know what you're getting for him, but, like, I mean, you're certainly not getting what you gave up to get him, but if Purdy's a monster and the whole team loves him and he plays well and he wins a playoff game or two, then, I mean, Jesus Christ. I think you go with him and Jimmy and you figure it out. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But it's interesting, man. He's
2
playing
QB
well.
system.
Well, I know. That's what I mean. I would love it. That is a perfect 2 QB system. I would just say it's the other way. I would say you hold on to Purdy and Trey and like tell Jimmy to go kick rocks and get some value for him and start there. But yeah, you can't tell me that it's been 5 games, right? And the regular season playoff games are so much different than one another. I could easily see Kyle Shanahan fucking this up in the third quarter and, Geno Smith having his moment. It's kind of like all moving itself towards that, just because the Lions beat the fucking Packers and they're like, all right, like they shouldn't have let us in type of deal and go get I feel very odd about Seattle winning against the 49ers and then coming here. Yeah.
Interesting. How about this? Taylor, if you know the spread on it, let us know. And if not, just go look it up and let us know when you got it. Because I would love to see what the spread is on that.
I'm going to say it's at least 6.5 is what I would guess for the 49ers.
Okay. That's pretty comfortable.
Something like that.
I think that's fair.
But overall,
9.5.
What was it?
9.5.
Oh, boy. Would hate to see Kyle Shanahan screw up a 9.5 point,
wow,
situation there in San Francisco. But
that would be hell for him.
I would talk myself out of it by the time it was game time. But you're probably right. I mean, wouldn't you want Seattle coming in here at the end of the day? Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people would agree Seattle is a wonderful matchup in the first round for us.
215-509-5833. Feel free to text us your predictions for this weekend. How you felt the rookie class has kind of held up, and if there is a Jordan Davis, Patrick Robinson type moment heading into the playoffs, that'd be pretty cool if that happens. Or jump in our Discord, bellthebirdmen.com. It's where we like to have a lot of fun conversations over there. Yeah, fellas, I'm just looking forward to this weekend and mainly just laughing at everybody. This is like a vacation for us, isn't it?
Well, it is a vacation for us. We get a bye. That's what it's all about, baby. But actually, it's not really a vacation for us because what we're going to be doing is we're hanging out on Monday night. So if you want to be joining us on the live stream Monday night on YouTube, what we're going to do, BUCS COWBOYS, because how can you not? I mean, well, first off, we'll see if that's the matchup anyway. I mean, if everything goes chalk, there's a very strong likelihood that game, the winner of that game, is going to play the Eagles. So we've got interest in that way. But also, it's just kind of fun to hate watch Dallas. We did it last year. We hate watched a Dallas game, so we're going to do it this year in the playoffs. So make sure you're around with us on Monday night for that. And I'm excited for it, man. That's going to be fun.
TK, anything we should know before we get out of here?
No one wants to see Buffalo, Miami.
Yeah, the absolute worst game of the weekend.
Oh, come on. Skylar Thompson, baby.
Wouldn't it, man, what a disaster for the NFL if Miami somehow wins that game. Miami heads down to Atlanta to face the Bengals or Chiefs or whatever for the AFC Championship game. There would be another week of that.
One more week, but come on, dude. Skylar Thompson's gonna roll.
I am the only other thing in the AFC is I am rooting heavy for our boy Dougie. I think that's what me and T were talking about earlier. That'd be nice to, and I think he does. You want to know why? I think I said so already, but Brandon Staley has touched Sean McVay. Doug wipes the floor with Sean McVay types, and I just feel really good about it. So congratulations to the Jaguars in their only playoff victory, and, keep it going, more or less. So
that'd be really amazing, man. I mean, honestly, I had Doug left for dead this year, so I'd be so impressed if he pulls this off.
I just didn't think Jacksonville had it in them to do something smart, and apparently they're letting him cook down there. So, Dougie, hope you get some Haagen-Dazs this weekend. Once again, you can find all of our stuff at bellandthebirdmen.com, our socials, the hats, the shirts, the push-up contests, and many more things. Yeah.
Are we doing that next after a race now? It's a push-up contest?
Yeah, I figure we do 2 athletic competitions a year. That's all we're good for. So,
good in quotes.
hit those 5 stars on the podcast and make sure you're subscribing down below. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll see you streaming on a Monday and plenty of takes from the playoffs. And we'll see you real soon. Okay, bye.